Good morning to all. Correct 11:15 then Honorable Governor will be arriving here. So let's be seated. Thank you. And requesting all of you to switch off the mobiles while the event is started. Thank you.
KLW18544 ആ ഒരു കാറ് ഫ്രണ്ടിൽ കിടപ്പുണ്ടെന്ന് മാറ്റിയത് വളരെ ഉപകാരമായിരുന്നു. പോലീസിൻ്റെ സെക്യൂരിറ്റി ആവശ്യപ്രകാരമാണ്.
Actually silent mode is enough. ഒരു ഡിസ്റ്റർബൻസ് വരണ്ടെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചിട്ടാണ്. താങ്ക് യു. Friends, our governor already started from Raj Bhavan, so within no time he'll be reaching here. So let us wait for his arrival. Our Honorable Governor arrived, and let us rise up as a token of respect when he enters the hall. And I request all the dignitaries on the dais to take the seat after Governor's arrival. Please rise. Let us all welcome our Honorable Governor. Let's have our national anthem. Good morning and warm welcome to all. I am Anshita, Master of Ceremony of the Day and Secretary to Karuna. Let's start the program with a prayer song. I request Sudha Ganesh for the prayer song.
मैत्री भजत अखिल हृजयत्री मैत्री भजत अखिल हृजयत्री आत्मवदेव पराणपि पश्यत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम् जननी पृथ्वी कामदुःखास्ते जनको देवः सकलदयाळो दाम्यतदत्त दयत्वं जनत श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजयत्री मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजयत्री.
Thank you, Sudha Ganesh. Now I will invite Mrs. Usha Rajan, President of Karuna, for welcome address.
Namaskaram. On behalf of Karuna Charities, a warm good morning to one and all. Today is an important day for us. Our beloved founder and chairperson of Karuna Charities, late Mrs. Lekha Sreenivasan's dream is becoming a reality. Yes, her book is being released today. Karuna Charities was very close to her heart. She established Karuna Charities in New York in 1993 to help the helpless. In due course of time, she followed up by founding Karuna Charities branches in Kenya, Washington, Vietnam, and Thiruvananthapuram. Karuna's helping hand reaches orphanages, old age homes, mentally challenged, and underprivileged patients all over the world. Karuna Charities is now a leading Indo-American non-profit organization with over 300 members. Here in Trivandrum, Kerala, Karuna so far has helped hundreds of young boys and girls with not only their schooling but also their college education. Over the last 20 years, Karuna has also plans dialysis treatments, cancer treatments, and much more. Karuna has also helped hundreds of underprivileged young women by providing them with vocational training and assisted with the wedding process of 23 young women. In 2005, all divisions of Karuna Charities worldwide together help the regional cancer center to build the waiting hall. Karuna's work includes donating wheelchairs, installing water tanks for schools, for visually challenged girls, helping. We run a short stay home for cancer patients near Trivandrum Medical College and have looked after more than 50,000 patients and their families. At present, the short stay home is rented accommodation. Our goal is to have our own building. Late Lekha Sreenivasan's book, Better Half of Diplomacy, will be available for sale after this function. Though the book is priced at Rs 300, additional donations will be gratefully accepted and acknowledged. Entire proceeds of the sale will be for the humanitarian activities of Karuna Charities. I would humbly request everybody who shares this vision of a better, more empathetic world to purchase this book. Now, it is my honor and privilege on behalf of Karuna Charities Trivandrum chapter and Shri Chitra Tirunal Trust to welcome our dignitaries today. First of all, I am privileged to welcome our Honorable Governor of Kerala, Shri Arif Muhammed Khan. Next, it is indeed an honor to welcome His Beatitude Moranmar Basilios Cardinal Clemens. With folded hands, I welcome Princess Ashwati Tirunal Gauri Lakshmi Bai, who is a patron of Karuna Charities. Next, a person close to Lekha Sreenivasan, a person who has won the Best Collector Award, our Pathanamthitta District Collector. I welcome Dr. Divya S. Iyer, IAS.
Shri T.P. Sreenivasan, beloved Shri Shrikant Sreenivasan, Srimati Usha Rajan, Srimati Sudha Ganesh, and the galaxy of audience that has assembled here today for this august and solemn event. A very warm good morning to one and all. The last words of the prayer that was uttered here by Srimati Sudha Ganesh arguably sums up the life and wishes of Srimati Lekha Sreenivasan. Shreyam Bhuyat Sakala Jananam. May the entire world, may the people of this world be happy and prosperous. That was the life that she lived for. The highest tribute to those who have left us is not in grief, but in gratitude, is what is being said. And this day is a day of gratitude, celebrating the graceful life of Srimati Lekha Sreenivasan, whom I personally fondly called Mummy. And I know that it's not just me who considers her as a mom, for her motherly affection and her caring ways have touched the lives of numerous people, not only in Kerala, but across the globe. Through her various deeds that exuded her grace and her glory of her heart. As was mentioned here, Karuna Charities has been the shining example of the vision of her life, and we are grateful that it continues to live through in secure hands today, even after she has left for her abode away from us. In the various roles that she donned, as a dance teacher, as an artist par excellence, as a danseuse whose stage was the world, as a generous philanthropist, and of course, as the better half of the great diplomat. At every point, what came shining through was her generosity. And today, we celebrate her generosity by carrying a bit of her graceful spirit with each one of us as we leave this hall. Her life and her works, as described in her own words in the book, is definitely going to be an inspiration for all of us to live a life that will touch several other lives and light up several other hearts. If you look at the cover page of the book, you see her face with her luminous eyes and her long, lustrous hair and her illuminating smile. But through that, we also see her beautiful heart. Though we all know her as Lekha Sreenivasan, she would always want to refer to herself as Shri Lekha because the Shri from the Sreenivasan and the Lekha from her name joined together as a single entity. And that was her spirit of her life. Wherein she added so much to the family, to the diplomat himself, and to all the works that he did. Yet, she maintained her distinctive identity, but coalesced with his work as well, which is a very tough task to accomplish, in fact. This journey called life. I have several stories to say, but I know that time is a constraint. So, from her heart. She has not uttered a single word in that book which her heart could not spell. She has not uttered a single word in that book which her heart could not spell. It has come straight from her heart, and it is a bejeweled example of how simple her thoughts and her life were. There are no complicated words, there are no complicated thoughts in that book. There is no unveiling of the person called Lekha Sreenivasan in that book. There is only the shining star that keeps shining light upon us over and over again as you turn every single page in the book. And I think that is what makes this book so unique, that in a world full of complicated thoughts, in a world where sophistication is deemed to be the height of modernity, here comes a lady and a book whose life ought to be highly sophisticated, having lived through several countries, having gone through several cultures, having borne numerous experiences, and having touched a number of people's lives. Yet, she stayed true to her roots, and she let her simplicity shine through, thereby actually ensuring that the word's simplicity is the highest form of sophistication, rendering it so meaningful through her book and her life. It's a joy to read her book, and all of us seated in here would definitely agree upon the fact that it was an immense joy to have lived with her through her ups and downs in her life. We are all extremely grateful to the family of the Sreenivasans for presenting her to all of us. The family has been so generous in sharing and caring. And here we are thanking each one of you for every moment that you gave us to cherish in her presence, which was definitely illumined by your love into detail, which has gone into this book as well. I hereby set my words in front of you in fond memory and in great hope that the life and work of Srimati Lekha Sreenivasan lives gracefully through each one of us present here and continues to flourish across the globe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Divya, for leading us through the book. Now I invite Shri T.P. Sreenivasan sir, former Indian ambassador and our founder chairperson, for the felicitation.
Honorable Governor Shri Arif Muhammad Khan, Princess Ashwati Tirunal, His Beatitude Cardinal Clemis, Usha Rajan, and my son Lekha Sreenivasan. I must also address the distinguished audience before me who have found the time to come and spend with us today. Sitting here and looking at the dais and the audience, I felt very strongly that our decision to move to Trivandrum after wandering around the world with the opportunity to settle anywhere was a wise decision. Where else in the world can you have a dais this like and an audience like you? We are not part of the Trivandrum audience. We have been here only 14 years. 40 years we are abroad. And we are not engaged in any spectacular activities. But on the 9th of January, I discovered a new Lekha Sreenivasan. I must say I've been hearing about her work, but I never realized the extent of what she was doing. Till hundreds of people turned up in our house saying, what shall we do for the next feast for my child? How will I treat my mother? But I told all of them that this is an institution, so it will continue. And therefore, though I have had no time or experience of charity, I have taken upon myself the responsibility of guiding Karuna through for a while till they becomes a major institution. And on the dais, who do we have? The state, the head of state of Kerala. By no stretch of imagination, this functions he is not attending, is not in his mandate. But he is here because he recognizes that Lekha was a person to be remembered and felicitated. Two other people who are on the dais are such an indispensable part of our lives. Princess Ashwati Tirunal and His Beatitude Cardinal Clemis. Without them, such a function could not have been held. Princess Ashwati Tirunal has the unique distinction that she introduced us into diplomacy in 1970 in Tokyo, present in Tokyo, and said farewell to us from the Foreign Service in Vienna in 2004. There is no other human being who has done these two. I had the privilege of driving her around Tokyo without knowing either driving or Tokyo. And it was the middle of the night and I lost my way. But I told her, I'm showing you Tokyo by night. It's a very interesting sight. So she said, what a nice person is driving me all around Tokyo in the middle of the night. Till I finally found my way to the embassy and then I could find my way home. There are so many stories, but long before she became a relative of ours, we have been very close friends. As far as His Beatitude Cardinal Clemis is concerned, Lekha and I owe much to an institution which he is patron of. Marivanis College, I often say, gave me my first paycheck check and introduced me to my future wife. So you can imagine the bond that we have with Marivanis College. Cardinal's predecessor was present at our wedding. And Father Panikkar, who did not like the idea of my marrying a student, said there that I'm so glad that Sreenivasan is getting into the foreign service because next year I would not have given him a job in Marivanis College. Because marrying a student is a grave sin. But they have absorbed both of us into the Marivanis family. And anytime, every time we have sought his advice and his blessings, he has always been with us. Of course, I didn't say anything about Divya because she is a part of the family. And with her usual eloquence and grace, she had spoken about her mother. Nothing less could have been expected of her. Anusha Rajan, she is now the president of Karuna. I have seen her in the last few days, and I think she is very much, the Karuna is very much safe in her hands. And my son came from Dubai to offer you a word of gratitude, not a vote of thanks, because as somebody said the other day, I thank you, but I will not vote for you. So he will say a few words of gratitude and no vote because elections are near. A book release is always a joyous occasion. I've been to many of them. It is a culmination of a long period of hard work and the excitement of creation. And when a book is released, it is like a baby is born. You must so much part of that exercise, all of you. There are many authors here. They'll all remember exactly what the feeling will be when you have a book in front of you and somebody is releasing it for the people. But a posthumous book release, I'm attending for the first time. And that adds a bit of poignancy to the whole event, because it was most unfortunate that Lekha could not fulfill her dream of having released the book by Honorable Governor when she was still alive. The 2 years that she wrote this book, she was totally lost in the effort to write the perfect book. I told her many times, I have written 10 books, none of them is perfect. And you cannot have a perfect book. But she persisted. She had to check every word. She had to check every name. She had to check every photograph. And so these 2 years, she was so totally immersed in it that I got a lot of freedom. Because she had no time to think about my diet and my exercise and my medicines. And I would say this is a great experience. I think you should all ask your wives to write books. Because, first of all, you get the freedom that you want. Secondly, you relive your life all over again. The 37 years that we spent abroad, of course, the book is only it's only one part of the book. The second one she could not write. So it covers only some years of our lives. But the way we relived our 37 years through this process, because our conversation was all about what should be in that chapter, what should be in this chapter. Remember that great friend, forgot his name, but she had a great memory. I used to call her my most memorable wife because she could remember everything. My own books, when I wrote, I always asked her whether this was right. So she had a better sense of memory and people, and that helped very much. So it's a matter of regret for all of us involved with her that this is a posthumous release and not an occasion when she could have told you herself much better than I could do as to what she went through. The other importance of the book is that it for the first time narrates or discusses the role of a diplomat's wife. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said in the Indian Parliament that this is the only service in which you get the work of two people for one salary. And he meant it, and it is really true. In the diplomatic life, the wives have to work as hard as the husband, if not more. First and foremost, they should be very aware of what is happening in India, because much of the diplomatic gossip arises from diplomatic wives rather than diplomats. And so no diplomatic wife can be unaware of what India is, India's culture is, etc. And that's why she was so dedicated to dancing, because she thought that was the way to project India. Entertainment is part of our job. All IFS wives talk about the agony of frying samosas. Thousands of samosas are to be fried every other day because the guests come from India very often. And that's a very important job. So in addition to that, most wives do not do very much. But Lekha insisted that she should continue her dancing, and she launched on this charities program. We started with dancing because she used to collect money for dancing and give it to Karuna. And then I was posted to every place where Karuna had to go, not the other way around. Not that I went there and she set up Karuna. So every time I got a posting, I would say, oh, this is the next Karuna chapter will be in Vienna. After that, this will be Nairobi, like that. So I was just following her instincts. But this is the first time in the 75 years of our diplomatic history that a wife has recorded the responsibilities of a diplomatic wife in various areas. And I'm sure very soon there will be several books. So this is a trendsetter. Because in the Foreign Service there are very many wives who are very gifted writers. And I'm sure at least 10 books must be being written at this moment. So she has opened up a new kind of a vision. And she felt that this had to be recorded because nobody had done it before. And that is the significance of the book as far as the diplomatic history of India is concerned. Well, I can go on like this, but I did not intend to do that. But she would not have intended this to be a place for tears for her friends. It's a place, it's an opportunity to celebrate her life. And we have been trying to do that. It is not so easy to celebrate the life of a person who has just left us. Tomorrow it will be the 3rd month. It is too soon for us to think in terms of celebration rather than of grief. But certainly all of you here, I'm sure, will join in this celebration. And it's only in Kerala that you can get such a group of people who admired her, loved her, even though you may not have known her very much. And that is the discovery that I made of Lekha when she passed away. So I'm sure she's smiling at us from heaven to tell us how happy she is today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sreenivasan sir, for the nice words. Now, I invite, respectfully, our Princess Ashwati Tirunal Gauri Lakshmi Bai Tamrati for the presidential address.
Narayanayeti samarpayami. Honorable and much loved Shri Khan, Governor of Kerala, respected Tirumeni, and all the other members on and off the dais, a very big namaskaram to one and all of you. I have 2 items of good news to convey to you, other than of course the book, that I don't have to necessarily say that. One thing is due to a rogue cough, I don't think I will be able to speak more than a few lines, and that definitely is good news. You don't want me to exit coughing away to glory. The second good news is, in this present scenario, when you talk of a cough, air-conditioned room and all that, every single person must be having a slight fear in the mind. My second news is I have just received my I have been tested for. They tested me for COVID and it is negative. That's why I am here today. So that I am just making it very, very clear that as of now I am free. About Lekha, as a person, as a diplomat's wife, as a holistic personality, and finally as a writer. You have heard much about it. Divya and Shri, they have all given you a very good insight into it. So whatever I may say would take on the nature of a repetition. Even as children, we were told, but here that is not possible. If I had spoken first, I would have beaten them all to it and said things which would be new. But now that is not possible. I can only say, this I did not know. When Sreenivasan spoke, I was just thinking with slight reflected horror. When we went to Tokyo, this was our first visit, my husband and I, we were there, and all those things he has said. But one thing which I did not know was that I did not know that he did not know how to drive. I'm just recovering from delayed shock. Anyway, first time, and when they were going, both times. Second time in Austria, I was there with my daughter-in-law Gopika, my son, and Vishnu, who is here, who has really traveled miles in time and effort and energy to be here today. He is here today, and that is where we were. I remember one aspect of Lekha. She had done a picture and she had framed it with euros. And she brought it and showed it. And instead of being appreciative, Sreenivasan nearly collapsed. He said, "What is this?" She said, "It's a picture." "Yes, but what have you framed it with?" And he counted, "My God, so much of money you have gone into framing this picture." And that was the last I saw of the picture. She immediately took it and locked it up somewhere. Last I saw it. But she was such a lovely person. It is always, perhaps, what is, expected to say nice things about people in such functions, and especially when, most unfortunately, it may have to be in her absence. But here, everybody has really spoken from their heart. They're not just boosting her up. She does not need that. She was a lovely person. She was a caring person and a very generous person. I think her hand was always like this, giving. And for that she had to perhaps ask. Otherwise, how do you give if you don't have? But the main thing was like this, which is what we have been taught from the time we could remember by our Karanamara. I have had the good fortune to go through the entire book. Every word, every line, every sentence I have read of this book. Better Half of Diplomacy. You cannot get a better title for it. In every way, it speaks. It's a little bit of a challenge for Sreenivasan also. Better Half of Diplomacy. He is himself a diplomat, full of diplomacy. And there she is, the better half of diplomacy. Anyway, I won't say anything more about the book. I wish she wanted so much to see it come out. I do not have the expertise to say whether she would be here watching the function from somewhere, somehow. I do not know. But personally, I always feel when somebody has decided to move on, they should not look back. They may grieve. They may feel sad. Once they start the journey, let them reach God at the feet of God. But anyway, whatever it may be, for those who are remaining, her family is now represented in full measure, other than Sreenivasan, her son, her brother, his wife, the two nieces, little niece, grandnephews, all of them, so many people of the family, they are all here. And as has been often said before, while there is grief in the heart, I will not say that I do not grieve that she is not here. That would be hypocritical. I do grieve. But along with that, let us hope it is a celebration, as has been oft repeated. The word has been oft repeated. The idea has been oft repeated. Let it be a celebration also. A celebration of a dream, an effort, an endeavor which has come true. And it is being presented to the people, not only those who cared for her, for whom she was somebody very, very special, but also for many others. And also, it is being released by Shri Khan. Of course, he is the governor, but I'm repeating, he is the governor. Everybody knows that, and a governor releasing a book is an honor. But more than that, he also is such a special, wonderful person. So one wonderful person releasing the work of another wonderful person is something grand. And all the others here are all luminaries, all great people. I always think when I saw the people sitting here, whether I'm a little misplaced, except because of my connection with Karuna, then I thought, when you take payasam, you can take a little more. So I'll be the kadumanga in the payasam, the group of payasam. So thank you for inviting me here. And I would also thank everybody. I need not, but because of my connection with Karuna, I can only say how beholden Karuna is to everybody, to Chitra School, which is organized, and to everybody for being here in this function, not only of celebration, but of remembrance, of gratitude, of love. Thank you.
Thank you, Princess. Now I request His Beatitude, Modern Basilius Cardinal Clemis, to address the gathering.
Shri Arif Muhammad Khan, the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Princess Ashwari Dirunal, Dr. Divya, Srimati Usha Rajan, Dr. Sreenivasan, Srikant, respected friends. Thambirati said, because of the cough, she is being restricted. I have the glad news to announce I am free from cough, so I am not restricted. It is a fine, enriching moment of being together and recollecting what a family meant to be. We have been pondering over the word diplomacy, but it is a word which I have always looked at with different dimensions, and most often it is misunderstood than understood, the word diplomacy. We are celebrating the rhythm of a family, and the book is a reflection of that beautiful song which they all sung together. And Lekha Sreenivasan, I have visited the families a couple of times and I have spent time with them. Not because Sreenivasan took away one of the students from the Marivanius College, but the family has been very close to us in many ways. I was filled with a legitimate sense of pride when Dr. Sreenivasan addressed a galaxy of cardinals, bishops, and respected clergy and lay people in the Vatican, describing the personality of the late Archbishop Benedict Mardigorios on his 100th year of birth. And all asked me, who is this man? Then I simply said, he is our Sreenivasan. In his brief sharing with us, he said, where else we can find such beautiful community of people? Sreenivasan, I must say honestly, people like you make the change of quality of coming together in this city of Trivandrum. And we owe very much to you for your friendly and far-sighted vision for the future generations, and also to teach everyone the art of living together without underestimating anyone, but respecting everyone and every nature. Dr. Divya has beautifully elaborated the content of the book, Better Half of Diplomacy. Lekha was a person of karuna and karunyam. And she even dared to ask me something of the requests from Karuna Charities. I said, I was about to ask you. And she said, somehow I guessed it, that's why I'm asking you in advance. And she managed to get at least 3 houses built. She had no sense of shame in that sense to ask for the people who are really in need. Such a wonderful wife, such a wonderful mom, Srikant, and such a wonderful person amongst us. We are really honored that the Honorable Governor, Shri Arif Muhammad Khan, and Tambirati came over at this beautiful moment where we celebrate the rhythm of a family. Wishing you all a happy Easter, God's blessings to the city of Trivandrum, where we have learned how to live together and where we have witnessed to the world Vasudhaiva Kudumbagam is still a reality. It is a possibility that we could live in the midst of diversities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, the most awaited and graceful moment of the day and for Karuna, our book release. I request our Honorable Governor of Kerala, Shri Arif Muhammad Khan, sir, to release the book, Better Half of Diplomacy, and I request Mrs. and Mr. Mohan Nair to hand over the book. Mohan sir is Lekha and his brother. Now I invite our Honorable Governor of Kerala to address the gathering.
Most respected, His Beatitude to remaining Cardinal Klimis, Her Highness Princess Ashwati Tirunal Gauri Lakshmibai. My voice is cracking because 3 weeks back I had a relapse of COVID. But now it's more than 3 weeks, so the risk is not there. Shri T.P. Sreenivasan, our former ambassador, Shri Shrikant Sreenivasan, Dr. Divya S. Iyer, Shrimati Usha Rajan, Sahodri Sahodran Mare, Ellavarkum Ende Vandanam. When I released the book, the memories to celebrate the life, works and achievements of somebody who has left us, who was dear to us, then it's natural that we also have grief in our heart. And then come to mind very powerful lines of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Na jayate miryate va kadachin, nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya, ajo nityam shashvatoyam purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Our culture has been defined by soul, Atma. And Atma is neither born nor dies. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishthantam parmeshwaram vinashyat sua vinashyantam ya pashyati sa pashyati. Our culture exhorts us to build the ability to see the imperishable in those who are subject to being perished. Her Highness said rightly that she will feel sorry if she looks at us. But then, if the Atma merges into Paramatma, then Paramatma keeps an eye on us all the time. She will have to see us. The Bible also tells us that there are only two things which are not subject to destruction: the Word of God and the soul of human. So we fondly remember her. Although she is not physically present here, but her works, her achievements, her words her book, we are not able to see her, but we can feel her presence. The versatile personality of Srimati Lekha Sreenivasan is best captured by the caption under a photograph which is part of the book and which was published in a Kenyan newspaper. The caption below the photograph is Lekha, the painter, Lekha, the florist, Lekha, the orator, and the dancer. That appears to be a very realistic portrayal of the resourceful personality of Srimati Lekha Sreenivasan. Wherever she went, the eloquence of her talents presented her as an elegant, innovative, and endearing person. The title emphasizes her role in diplomacy. Yet it is not just in the role of a diplomatic spouse that she excelled. She stood apart as an organizer, a painter, a gifted classical dancer who pursued the art with all her heart, and finally whose heart was full of karuna. And she gave the same name to the organization, the various chapters which she found. The empathy and compassion, particularly for those who did not have the ability to look after themselves. She not only served them, but also created institutions with the help of her friends and admirers to ensure that good work continues even after she leaves this world. As a nation and civilization, we have always seen woman as the feminine form, as the embodiment of Shakti, power, energy. Shakti refers to a dynamic energy that creates and maintains the universe. And our tradition says, in Hindi they say, that Shakti ke bina Shiv shav hain. That Shiv is merely, Shav in Hindi means corpse, dead body. Without Shakti, Shiv is merely a corpse. Our concept of Ardhanarishwar reflects equality as well as interdependence of both forces in the creation and maintenance of the universe. One of our ancient texts, Gita Govindam, starts with a verse which tells us that when the sky is night time, the sky is dark, the large trees, they look like ghosts, then even a man who is considered Purn Purush, complete man, like Bhagwan Shri Krishna, even he becomes timid and loses courage. And whose shelter he takes? He takes at that time when he feels like ground is slipping under his feet, he takes shelter of Radhaji. That is the woman power. Megher, Meduram, Ambaram, Vanbhuva, Shama, Tamal Durume, Naktam, Bhirurayam, Tomev Tadimam, Radhe Girham Prapaya, Itham Nanda Nideshata, Chaliteo Pityadva Kunja Dirume, Radhe Madhav Yor Jayanti Yamna Kule Raha Kelia. So the Geet Govinda, which is one of our ancient texts, which enjoys the status of almost a scripture. The book starts with this verse. That is how it was only during the period of our decline and fall that women were relegated into the background. Indian civilization has always, right from the beginning of its journey, recognized the powerful role of the Matra Shakti. Life of Srimati Lekha Sreenivasan shows that it is an understatement to say that behind every successful man there is a woman. Behind your success. But this is an understatement. Truly, the fact is that mostly it is the woman power that actuates and inspires a man to move towards new achievements. A diplomat is described as an honest gentleman. I won't use the word lie, because that is unparliamentary and I have been trained there. So I will say an honest gentleman who resorts to untruthful things for his country, abroad, to serve the interest of his country. And a diplomatic spouse provides support by being a representative of her country's culture and by creating congenial environment for professional interactions. I recall reading a diplomatic spouse's proud statement recently in an interview that as wife of a diplomat, it was her job to nobly project the national image and to be humble in the world of diplomacy. This beautifully narrated book summarizes the better half of diplomacy, summarizes author's life as the wife of an Indian Foreign Service officer spent in various countries. In these and some other nations where they served, she could meet and interact with the cream of the global society and play her multiple roles with candor and efficiency, every bit of which she recalls with equanimity. She seems to have a strong belief in refinement of spirit and heart. For instance, when her son, a student of primary school, comes back home and mentions to mother how one of her classmates has 30 pair of shoes. Then she tells him that possession of material things is not important. The other thing, matters of spirit, are more important. The author's keen interest in all that she saw, wherever she went, will give the readers a fair picture of how she understood and valued the people, culture, and cultural practices of those places. It is said that a good learner would be always willing to share knowledge with others. Lekhaji was not only a keen learner, but also had the qualities of a great teacher. She attracted students wherever she was stationed, including Soviet Union, and organized a Tiruvatira performance in Burma. I was amused to read that Sreenivasan Sahib could not control himself and made pro-democracy speeches in Fiji. And the government of the Fiji did not like those speeches. And she kept her bags ready, anticipating that they may be asked to go away from Fiji anytime. For that, she keeps the bag ready. Accounts of the past by diplomats would often be like history, but her stories have more of real life in them. In this book, we also come across little episodes which normally may not find place in history. For instance, in Russia, the family was given domestic help who were invariably KGB agents. And they had taken a cook from Thiruvananthapuram. The book says that when possibly Sreenivasan ji might not have liked taste of the food, then the cook told him, "You are Malayali and I am Malayali. Only difference is that you got into this foreign service and I did not." It is not that Lekha ji had not faced unpleasant situations during her life. The hardships she suffered following a robbery attempt in their house in Kenya is known to all of us. I understand that she was initially not confident as a writer, but she picked her memories and placed them one after the other, like the romance that evolved from the classroom, the little ceremonies held at home, and finally her move into the world of diplomacy. On the whole, her enthusiasm convinces the reader that she was not just the better half of diplomacy, as the title says, but the best part of successful diplomatic and personal life of Sreenivasan ji, the family and friends scattered all over the world. This book will surely continue to remind us of her contributions. It would have been a real loss if she had not decided to write this book, which throws light on the rich and varied life that she lived. We have been regularly seeing the writings of Sreenivasan ji in significant publications and books. This book shows us his wife's skill of narration and reminded us again of the presence of a very talented wife of a diplomat. A reading of better half of diplomacy will make you realize that diplomacy is not only about Honorable Mr. T.P. Sreenivasan often saying things not absolutely truthful to promote our national interest abroad, but it was also optimum use of India's soft power by Mrs. Lekha Sreenivasan to capture the hearts and minds of people in the countries of their posting and make them admire and appreciate Indian culture, traditions, and more importantly, the women power of India. My best wishes to everyone who have attended this function, and I am sure, confident that those who read the book will find it a great and enjoyable read. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, valre nanni, Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Honorable Governor, for the lovely words. For our Lekha ma'am and Karuna, we'll be thankful to you forever. Now I request Mr. Sreenivasan to express his gratitude towards the gathering.
Thank you, Anjita. Shri Arif Muhammed Khan, Honorable Governor of Kerala, Princess Ashwati Tirunal Gauri Lakshmi Bai, His Beatitude, Moran Basilius Cardinal Clemus, Dr. Divya Iyer, IAS, Srimati Usha Rajan, President of Karuna, friends of my late mother and our family, the Karuna Charities family, ladies and gentlemen. The author C.S. Lewis once said, "Her absence is like the sky, spread over everything." And almost 3 months ago to this day, on January 9th, we lost a beloved Amma, Lekha Sreenivasan. My mother gave her heart and her soul to everything that was in her life, be it Karuna Charities, her art, her dance, her grandkids, or even us, her children and her husband. Better Off of Diplomacy was her last singular labor of love, and it is with our deep regret that she could not see it in its final form. But I hope and pray that Amma is proud of what she has produced, just as all of us are. The last few months have, of course, been incredibly tough on our family, but we are deeply grateful for all the love, concern, and care shown to us, and more importantly, the donations to Karuna Charities that have poured in from all over the world. There are countless close family and friends who could not join us today, but of course they're all equally here with us in spirit. There was one thing she wanted above all, as you've heard repeatedly this morning, is that she wanted to complete this volume and have it published, and we're doing that today. So therefore I'd like to express our sincere gratitude to our editor and publisher Sindhu Nandakumar and Literature's Light Publishing for bringing out her story in record time. Special thanks and appreciation also to Mr. Satish Kumar, who has kindly sponsored this morning's event. I'd also like to sincerely thank all the speakers on and off the stage who have made this book launch a success. Thank you all for honoring my mother. On behalf of my father, my brother Srinath and his family, Rupa, Durga, Krishna, and my family, including my wife Sharavati and my son Shivai, and our extended families, many of whom are here today from different parts of the world, I would like to place on record my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for being here today and celebrating her life as she would have wanted us to. I'd also like to specifically thank the leadership and the teams of both SK Hospital and KIMS Hospital for looking after her in her final days. Truly, truly appreciated. If you read her book, you would know that her greatest wish would be for us to continue her legacy of charity and showering kindness on the less fortunate. As much as we all miss her, especially on a day like today, let us take comfort knowing that she is smiling upon us as she always did. Thank you so much for being here.
The meeting is at the point of conclusion. I request all of you to rise up for the national anthem.